Good morning, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. Hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's doing fine. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, guys. Before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the video. If you guys could do that, it'd be absolutely fantastic. It is. What is it? Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? It's Tuesday morning, guys. And it is getting close, isn't it? It's the 6th of August. And we are getting close to the end of the transfer window, guys. It is heating up. In regards to Benjamin Cesco. There's lots of news going out there at the moment. There's lots of journalists talking. Has Benjamin Cesco chosen Manchester United? According to various sources around, Benjamin Cesco has chosen Manchester United, and Manchester United are confident that Benjamin Cesco will accept Manchester United, with an announcement being made imminently. So we have to wait, guys. We have to wait. We have to twiddle our thumbs a little bit. We have to sit down, relax a little bit, because it does seem like Benjamin Sesko will sign for Manchester United. According to various sources, including Fabrizio Romano, Manchester United's offer of 75 million euros plus 10 million on add-ons is a little bit less than Newcastle United's, which begs the question, why would Manchester United go in at a lower offer, guys? Do they believe that they will accept that offer? Do they believe that Leipzig will accept the offer? Now, obviously, Newcastle offered 80 plus 90 million in incentives, which basically has sort of like spoiled like RB Leipzig a little bit. Sort of like, you know what, entice RB Leipzig and encourage RB Leipzig to raise the price, of course, guys. So, as I said, look, you know what, the stipulations of the deal, basically, if it's a 75 million offer with 10 million in add-ons, and Man United's add-ons are more achievable than Newcastle's add-ons in regards to 80 million plus 90 million, the deal for Manchester United could quite possibly be worth more and be more attainable, more achievable in regards to the add-ons and the incentives. So that obviously Man United do have to straighten that out. But it does look likely that Benjamin Sesko will be a Manchester United player. I've been confident about this for a long time. I never believed that Manchester United would turn their back on the likes of Ollie Watkins, for example, if they didn't believe that this deal was possible and this deal was likely. Just because Benjamin Sesko has not announced it, obviously Manchester United are waiting on an announcement. But it doesn't mean he hasn't announced it to them face to face or on the phone or to the agent or wherever it is behind the scenes. Obviously, Benjamin Sesko is looking after his own interest. He doesn't want to announce it until Manchester United could prove that they can afford the transfer fee. As they've done last night with the offer, they've proved they can afford the transfer fee. And there is encouragement around that Benjamin Sesko has agreed to join Manchester United. There's a lot of noises going around in regards to Benjamin Sesko, what he said, what he's not said. But one thing for certain, respectable people are speaking about this and saying that Manchester United are confident that he has chosen them. Now, look, guys, I don't believe that Manchester United will come out and say that they are confident that he's chosen them if they didn't believe it was true. Because it is true. I do believe that as well. I'm hearing as well that Benjamin Sesko, Manchester United fan, agent Manchester United fan, has chosen Manchester United. Happy days. And hopefully we can get that deal over the line quickly. And I do mean quickly, because Manchester United do have a lot of work to do in this transfer window and do have a lot of players that need to leave as well. You know, it's not just about players coming in, players need to leave as well. And obviously we got Arsenal in under 2 weeks, guys. It is coming thick and fast, and we cannot rest on our laurels, twiddling our thumbs, as I say, you know. So basically, Benjamin Sesko looks likely to be a Manchester United player. Obviously, nothing is set in stone. Anything can happen in football. It has happened in the past where players have agreed to go to football clubs, then turn around and ended up at other football clubs. That can happen, guys. We all know what happens in football. Football's a funny old game at the end of the day. But it does look likely that Manchester United have stolen a march in this transfer and will get their man. Manchester United have been chasing Benjamin Sesko for quite a while. It hasn't just occurred recently. Since June the 1st, I've been talking about Benjamin Sesko and Manchester United. Indeed, for 2 years, I've been talking about Benjamin Sesko and Manchester United. And Benjamin Sesko came out and said that, you know what, he's not ready to sign for Manchester United yet. He would wait. So obviously, these things do play a part. Newcastle United had just entered the frame pretty recently in regards to Sesko. So obviously, Cesco's going to look at it and think, do you know what? Do I want to go to Newcastle United, right, who done well last season, They've done okay last season, right? Do I want to go to Newcastle United, who done well last season, or do I want to go to Manchester United, who have the potential to be back, who have the potential to challenge for the league eventually, who have the potential to challenge for the Champions League? Look, you can play for Newcastle, you can enter the Champions League, you could do all that lovely stuff and etc. But you're not going to win major trophies at Newcastle United. I'm sorry, I don't want to be the party pooper, but you're not going to do that. So him choosing Man United, is a good choice, I believe. A lot of people are going to say, why would he go to that team? Why would he go to... We're Manchester United at the end of the day. We're in our worst period, in Manchester United's worst period in the last 15 years, right? In our worst period would be a Newcastle golden generation. That is our worst period. What we've done this last 13 to 15 years would be Newcastle United's golden generation. That's why. Because Manchester United have ambitions, real ambitions, proven ambitions from the past that we can go out there and we can go and win the league. Because we have proven to win the league. Newcastle have not. Now, turning back to Benjamin Cesco. Of course, Benjamin Cesco, has agreed financial terms, obviously, with both clubs, by the way. That shouldn't be ignored, of course, in case Manchester United, of course, do not agree a fee with RB Leipzig. You're going to have to back yourself up in regards to, have a backup option if Manchester United cannot afford the fee. But it does look likely that Man United can afford the fee. And they've gone 5 million lower. And the reason they've gone 5 million lower, and this is another chink to our armor, in regard going 5 million lower, just double confirms to me that they're confident that Benjamin Sesko has chosen Manchester United. Obviously, there is that special club clause, of course, that Man United offer the market value of Benjamin Sesko, and RB Leipzig are obliged to accept the offer. So that does give you more incentive to believe that Benjamin Sesko has chosen Manchester United. Of course, guys, there is growing feelings that Benjamin Sesko has chosen Manchester United. Ben Jacobs last night double confirmed that he has chosen Manchester United with this tweet here. Of course, understand, Benjamin Sesko has made it clear this evening that he wants to join Manchester United. Newcastle have today offered improved terms, and their bid to Leipzig remains the stronger of the two clubs. But there is now a growing sense of confidence within Manchester United that Sesko would join if the clubs reach a deal. Manchester United focus is now on trying to reach an agreement with RB Leipzig, as the club believes Sesko is waiting for them. Courtesy of Alex Crook, and that is coming from Ben Jacobs' Twitter page. Of course, Ben Jacobs, a big friend of the show. Big up Ben Jacobs, of course. But there you go. It's there and play live and live in color, guys. It's just there. Like, it just all roads are pointing towards Benjamin Sesko come to Man United. I'm getting the feeling of Mbumo now. I'm getting that Mbumo feeling, and hopefully it doesn't go that way, apart from the conclusion when he came to Man United. But hopefully we don't spend ages trying to get this deal over the line and spend weeks and weeks getting this deal over the line. Hopefully we get it done before the Arsenal game. Look, it looks unlikely that Benjamin Sesko will play in that first game, even if he signs for Man United next week. It still looks unlikely that he's going to play in the first game against Arsenal, given the lack of integration into training, and obviously no friendly games that he will play. Of course, Fiorentina, we're playing on the 9th. So we're playing Fiorentina on the 9th, and I don't think he will be at the football club by the 9th. I don't think that will happen. Maybe it might be advanced. It might be doing his medical or something like that at the very best. But I don't think he's going to be at Manchester United for the Fiorentina game. It would be lovely if we could unveil Benjamin Sesko at Old Trafford before the Fiorentina game. That would be lovely, but it just doesn't look likely at the moment. And I don't think he's going to be playing against Arsenal. It does look pretty certain that Man United will go with Rasmus or Xerxes up front against Arsenal for the first game of the season. It looks like, to be honest with you, I mean, it could be the same lineup that played against Everton, if I'm being honest. Big up everyone. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the stream. I hope everyone is blessed. Welcome, guys. Big up Saviour. What's going on, my friend? Good morning. I'm happy about the news. I'm hearing that we are signing Cesco. Confirming it's true. It's very, very true. Obviously, we have to be very, very calm because anything can happen in football. I've been here before. I've been at transfers over the many, many years that I've been watching football transfers, and things can go upside down. but it does look likely. It's positive. It's good news, which is great, of course. Big up, Randall. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Morning, Sal. How come everyone can see Bruno's constant errors, but Amram can't see? Why does that happen? At the end of the day, look, you know what? Bruno's another conversation that we've been talking about, obviously. I mean, I will bring that into the show another time. But, you know, we know about Bruno. We know what's going on with Bruno. I spoke about it over the last couple of days, you know, in regards to that. Bruno's a senior member of the squad, probably. He's captain, probably. That's why that he gets a preferable treatment. Of course, you know, but he's not the only one, I would say. Absolutely. Big up Cornish, Melissa. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Morning, Sal. Geez, I'm glad when this announced it. I mean, I can't wait till the deal is over. Look, can I be honest with you guys? Look, a lot of people thrive from the transfer window. I get a lot of information in the transfer window. You know, I know a lot of people. I know a couple of people actually work right now at Manchester United. And obviously people in the music industry and stuff like that who have worked with various major journalists within the scope, because the industry is very small. But I tell you honestly, guys, that, you know what, I am not a fan of the transfer window. I'm not. I just want football to start. I'm like, I want football to start. I want to watch the games and stuff like that and see what happens, of course. I do feel, however, that Man United could fix this transfer window, you know, by the start of the season. They could, and it could be an exciting time at the start of the season. I really do hope so. I really do hope Man United get a couple of more signings through the door. Now, look, guys, once Cesco goes through the door, apparently, Manchester United are not going to rest on their laurels. Sancho and Anthony Garnacho could be leaving the football club, of course, and that means money coming into the football club. Man United could quite possibly, realistically, in my opinion, make one more signing. Who is that signing going to be? A very, very important question has to be put forward, doesn't it? Is it going to be the goalkeeper? Is it going to be the midfielder? Is it going to be a right wing back? It could be. Anything can happen in football, isn't it, at the end of the day? But what I would say is that, you know what, Manchester United look likely to move for another player straight after the Cesco signing. It could be a goalkeeper. I think likely it will be a goalkeeper, in my opinion. No matter whatever people think, this is what I'm hearing. It looks likely to be a goalkeeper, in my opinion. Of course, various journalists, including Ben Jacobs, spoke a couple of weeks ago about the midfield position, namely Carlos Baleba, that Manchester United cannot afford Carlos Baleba at the moment, as Brighton has slapped a huge 70+ million fee on his head. So basically what Manchester United are thinking is that they're going to re-enter this race for Carlos Baleba next season, guys, in 1 year. You snooze, you lose at the end of the day. If he ends up going somewhere else, then we're going to have to blame ourselves at the end of the day. But signing Cesco, signing Cunha, signing Bumo, you know, up front, would have you been happy with that if I brought that forward to you at the end of last season? If I said our forward line will be in Bumo, Cunha, and Cesco next season, would you be delighted with that? Would you be happy to that? Would you be upset with that? Would you be content? How would you feel if I brought that forward to you? How would you feel? Would you be, you know what, would that be acceptable in your opinion? Cornish. Goodness me. The thing is, Randall, Bruno does extraordinarily well as the bad, and there aren't too many people can do extraordinary. My goodness me. There you go, Cornish. Romano talking about Rasmus exit. If Sesko comes to Man United, move to AC Milan could be an option, and playing next to Modric could be a big draw. I don't know about that, mate. I'm not sure about it. I'm hearing a lot of news about Leverkusen. I'm hearing a lot of news about Inter Milan, AC Milan, even Juventus to an extent. I'm hearing a lot of news about Rasmus Hojlund leaving the football club. Look, I wouldn't be opposed to Rasmus Hojlund staying at Manchester United, though it looks unlikely that he would stay at Man United. I think it's about 40-60 at the moment percent that he's going to stay at Manchester United. I wouldn't be opposed to that because at the end of the day, you know what? You do need a squad. You do need a squad because God forbid if something happens to Cesco, if he gets an injury or something like that, we got Rasmus to come in. Of course, we've got FA Cup games, League Cup games, etc. It would be great if, you know what, Rasmus could come in. And you know what? Over the years, Manchester United have had competition between players on the pitch. They've had obviously players, you know, up front in particular, Dwight York, Andy Cole, Teddy Sheringham, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who competed with each other and elevated each other's game. And I think there's no substitute for having competition. And I think there's two ways you can look at this, right? You could say, well, we need Rasmus to go. He can leave. We get the money in, blah, blah, blah. Or we could say, well, Rasmus can elevate his game, learn off Cesco, so they can bounce off each other. And you know what? You never know. Maybe one day we might play 4-4-2. You never know, guys. But, you know, what I would say is that, I back Rasmus. I think Rasmus is a great lad. I think it's very unfortunate what's gone on with him over the last couple of years in regards to being thrown into the deep end, guys. And I have a lot of respect for him, and I like him as a person. I do like him, and I wish him all the best, whatever happens with him. But yeah, look, Man United, look, it's written in the stars that Man United are going to sell some players. Some players will leave. Some of them will be unpopular in regards to us wanting them to leave. Some of us want them to stay. Some of them will be, yes, finally we got them out the door. There's going to be a lot of those, of course. I really do want to hear, before I hear about Sancho, before I hear about Rasmus, I want to hear about Sancho. I want to hear about Anthony. I want to hear about Garnacho. Those three players there should be leaving before Rasmus Hojlund. Those three players there, that is what it should be at the end of the day. Cornish, if we get Cesco, that wouldn't surprise me, Charlie. There appear to be a lot of teams that will want Hojlund. A lot of teams. He's still a very talented lad. Look, people seem to forget that last season, in Rasmus Hojlund's first season, he scored 16 goals, guys. It's no mean feat at the end of the day. He had 6 goals in the Champions League group stages, guys. He was the top scorer in the Champions League for a period of time. You know, and many people are ranting and raving from him. He got a lot of criticism, you know, which was totally unfair, in my opinion. It is unfair at the end of the day for a young lad, 22 years old, of course, still learning his way, so to speak. But my biggest worry in regards to Rasmus Hojlund was that he's never been prolific. He's never been prolific at Atalanta. He's never been prolific anywhere he's been, even Denmark. He's never been prolific. And this is one thing that kind of concerned me a little bit, that will he become prolific? Is he a prolific player? And that's what you have to really look at things objectively, of course, and learn about. Of course, big up Dembo. Big up my sort of friend. How you doing? The deal still needs to happen ASAP. Then get him over the line and get the training for the Arsenal game. I don't think he's going to be at the Arsenal game, Dembo. It's not about just getting into training. It's also getting into match fitness. Obviously, Man United had a couple of friendlies that could have worked in regards to integrating him into the tactics, the formation, the system. I'm going to make a little bold prediction at the moment, guys. I would predict that Benjamin Sesko will be on the bench for the Arsenal game. I hope that Benjamin Sesko will be announced at the Fiorentina game, and hopefully Benjamin Sesko comes onto the pitch with the scarf, with the Man United jersey, you know, not playing, but new signing, which could quite possibly happen. But I don't want that to be the full stop. Man United need to move on to next players, of course, a goalkeeper, a midfielder, what we need, of course. And if Man United managed to get, if Man United managed to get another player in, a goalkeeper, a midfielder, I think you have to give a little bit of credit to Ineos. They haven't done what I expected them to do. They had to do more, in my opinion. So I'm going to give them about 65% transfer window. Basically a 6.5 out of 10 if they get a midfielder or goalkeeper in as well. Basically a 6.5 out of 10. Why is it a 6.5, Sal? Because if they get a goalkeeper or a midfielder, they need both. The strike force fantastic. They've done that. But Man United needed a right wing back. Man United probably needed a defender as well, because obviously we lost Evans and we lost Lindelof. They probably needed a defender as well. But ultimately, the overriding concern for me was that we didn't get the players in time. That was it. They were late. You know, and I wanted these players in before the preseason, because obviously it gives Ruben Amorim a fighting chance to get his team together, to get the formation together, to work on tactics, etc., etc., etc. And this is what I wanted at the end of the season. It's something that we haven't had in many years. Players in before the season starts, you know what I mean? A couple of weeks before the season starts, so we can have some friendly. I'm a little bit worried that Man United haven't got many friendlies this year. Yeah, we got Fiorentina, and I think that's it, right? I think that's it. We ain't got many friendlies this year, which is strange. Obviously, we've had a few. I think Man United could have squeezed in a little friendly. You know what? Maybe go to Ireland, maybe go to Scotland, maybe go to one of those places, and you know what? Play a couple of friendlies there, like we used to do. Maybe Man United could have done that. Unfortunately, we haven't got that this year. We got the Fiorentina game, and I think that's it. You know, so there's no way to integrate Cesco and get him used to his teammates and get him used to the formation and tactics as well, which he probably is be the first time he'd be playing those tactics as well. Big up Amir, how you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Big up Benny, hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're blessed, of course. Big up Amir, of course. We believe in you, Amarim, absolutely. Big up everyone. Another exciting day ahead. Come on, Pearl. Absolutely, we believe in it. Another exciting day ahead, of course. Big up Mickey. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. A little smile on us Devils' faces. It's very good to have. It's very good to see. I'm delighted that we finally got some smiles on faces, Mickey. I'm really glad about that. I'm really excited to have Cesco on board. I'm enthusiastic now. I'm starting to get a little bit enthusiastic about the season. Although I would calm down a little bit, because what I would say is that I'm a little bit worried about the midfield. I am, sorry guys, but I am a little bit party pooper in the house. I'm a little bit worried about the midfield. I'm a little bit worried about the goalkeeper as well. I mean, in fact, I'm very worried about the goalkeeper situation as well, guys. I am. I actually at the point where I think, should we play Heaton? Should we play Heaton? I'm at that sort of point at the moment. I just don't rely on Onana. I think Onana causes indecisiveness and anxiety, and we can have all the players we want. If you've got anxiety and indecisiveness within your team, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle to get in your rhythm, because you're going to play like you've got a fridge on your back, and that's what happens when you're anxious when you're on the football pitch. And I feel that's how Man United have been playing, hot potato football. You to me, you to me, you to me, and I think that's what it is. And no one has the confidence to take the ball forward and take a risk, because they're scared and anxious and they got anxiety for whatever reason it is, whether it's an Onana at the back, whether they don't want to make mistakes, whether it's the past that is haunting them. Who knows, of course. Baleba and a goalkeeper next. That will be Benny. If they get Baleba and a goalkeeper, Benny, if Man United manage to do that, which I don't think they're going to do, my friend, obviously, Benny, Baleba is going to cost a lot of money. We all know how Brighton and Hove Albion do business, don't we? It's going to cost a lot of money. But if Man United, for argument's sake, did get Baleba, did get a goalkeeper, I'm taking that percentage all the way up to 75%, 80% transfer window, which is 7.58 out of 10, which would be absolutely amazing. A 10 out of 10 would be a right wing back, another defender, probably a squad player as well to come in there to back up, obviously, Cesco, maybe something like that, of course, absolutely. Benjamin Cesco is a complete striker. Look, the thing is of Benjamin Cesco, there's been a lot of criticism around. I mean, there's going to be a lot. Beware of this. I want you to be aware of this, guys, in regards to the media. I want you to be aware of this. When Benjamin Cesco signs for Man United, and I do believe it is when he signs for Man United, watch the onslaught from the British media. Watch obviously TalkSport, ESPN, all these people there are going to start dragging Cesco down. Be aware of it. I just want you to be aware of it and don't fall for their nasty tricks, because they do not like Man United. The mainstream media in particular do not like Manchester United, because this is a historical thing, heritage, so to speak, in regards to media and Manchester United. We've given them a lot of pain over the years. Let's not forget, we've made them cry a lot of tears over the years. Let's not forget, we've taken some trophies from them over the years. Let's not forget that, of course, guys. And they still have those bitter feelings, of course. Martin Keown has nightmares to this day of Ryan Giggs running at him in the FA Cup semi-final, of course, guys. Craig Burley still has nightmares about the 1994 FA Cup final, losing 4-0 to Manchester United, Eric Cantona scoring a couple of penalties. So you know what I would say to you is just take it with a pinch of salt. Let them cry. Let them cry a river. Get Justin Timberlake out and let him sing a song for them. Cry me a river at the end of the day, because you know what? We're coming back. United are coming back. The wounded beast will awaken. The sleeping giant will awaken. And we will take what is rightfully ours, which is the Premier League, which belongs to Manchester United, of course. And that's who it belongs to. Look, you can talk to us all day about the Glazers and Sir Jim Ratcliffe and people like that. Cut them off. We've got a great manager here. We've got Ruben Amorim. And Ruben Amorim means business this year. Let me tell you that, guys, right now. You can tell Ruben Amorim is really putting his foot in. He's really bringing out the discipline. He's really bringing a team together and removing the bad eggs. As I said last season, the key is to remove the bad eggs. And I think we are going to remove the bad eggs. The fact that we didn't have Sancho, we didn't have Garnacho, we didn't have Anthony at this tour, when in other years we probably still would have brought them, shows you a lot about Ruben Amorim and where we are. We mean business, guys, and we're bringing in winners into this football club. We're bringing in future world-class players to this football club, which Cesco is. You name a player in Europe who is as young as Cesco, right? Who has the potential that Cesco has. There's no striker in Europe at the moment. Obviously, the striker market is bad at the moment. Of course, there's not many strikers out there, you can name. But Cesco is probably the best up-and-coming young striker in Europe. Absolutely. Big up. Sanjay, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Big up, Sanjay. Hope you're good. Good to see you. Guys, United started scouting. Yeah, I mentioned it on the show time ago, Yale, time ago. Hi, we're cooking something this season, of course. Guys, absolutely. Look, at the end of the day, I hope so, Paul. I really do hope so. I hope that this works out, and I hope that Man United go from strength to strength next season and we start winning some trophies, guys, really, or at least competing for something. We want to see a significant improvement next season. Of course, it's not hard. We had probably our worst season in history, I do believe that Man United are going to shock and surprise a few people next season with Sesko, with Mbumo, with Cunha. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people next season. I honestly believe that trio right there, and mark my words, I'm not being overly giddy here. I think Man United next season, that trio alone will score over 40 goals. I'm telling you right now. Remember where you heard it first. Darren, big up, Darren. How you doing, my friend? Newcastle shouldn't mess around with the big boys. Absolutely, mate. The Newcastle United are delusional. That's why I say they're delusional. They think they're much bigger than they are. I mean, I admire the confidence. I admire their belief in themselves and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we all know, who's watched Man United a very long time, who Newcastle United truly are, isn't it? At the end of the day, And I would say, yeah, look, best of luck to them. Go and get Jackson. They can go and get Jackson. They can have Jackson if they want. He's available at the end of the day, isn't he, guys? Big up Tyro Gunner TV. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, of course. Big up Saviour after going signing Cesco, the next player to sign into the midfield who can carry the ball forward. And I'm praying for Mount to be free from injuries this season. I'm a little bit concerned about Saviour. I'm a little bit concerned about Mason Mount, of course, because obviously Mason Mount has an injury. I worked in a hospital for a number of years. Mason Mount has an injury, a pelvis injury, which obviously when you take the medication for the pelvis injury, it does have a knock-on effect in regards to your fitness. It affects other parts of the body. And this could be an ongoing problem. This is the incompetence of Manchester United under, obviously, our old regime, and that we got Mason Mount through the door and not researching his injury record and look at his injuries in particular. And giving him the number 7 shirt. And I think that was a problem. Obviously, we need Mason Mount fit. We need all our players fit. Of course we do. But Mason Mount, for me, I would have looked at selling him because I just don't think he adds to the football team. I don't think he's the player he was, in my opinion, when he broke through at Chelsea. I don't think he's that player. But you know what? I hope he's fit. I hope he's fit because we're going to need every single player in the squad, of course. Mark, you big up Mark. Thank you so much for the kind gesture, my friend. Thank you for the super chat, my guy. Really, really appreciate your support for the channel. Really means a lot, mate. You come on here with your positivity and your generosity. It holds no bounds, and I really appreciate it. And it really does help the channel. Thank you so much, mate. And everything will be reinvested into the channel, and we will grow together, of course. Big up, Marky Mark, an absolute legend. More than Sal and the community. How are you, my friend? Very well. Good to see you again, my guy. Let's keep it moving. Keeper and a midfielder and a right wing back. Never worried about like you, my friend. Glory Gamene. Absolutely, Marky. Like at the end of the day, there was a lot of doom and gloom a couple of weeks ago. It's funny, isn't it, that one signing could change all the doom and gloom, and you know what? Everyone is enthusiastic. Maybe the overly zealous now, isn't it? At the end of the day, but what I would say is that look, if Man United manage to get a right wing back, a midfielder, and a goalkeeper, then you're moving it up to 85% window. Definitely, I would say that 100%. You're looking at 8.5 out of 10 for me. Definitely. But Marky Mark, look, if Man United manage to get the striker in, if they get Cesco in, I do believe that it will be one more after that, if we're lucky. I think that I know we need more. I absolutely know that. I mean, obviously, I'm a big advocate for a bigger squad that Man United need, even though we've only going to play one game a week. I'm very wary of the injury records that Man United have had over the years, and we're no illusions about that, of course, because we've witnessed it with our own eyes. Obviously, we look at our players. A lot of those players have been injured for quite a long time. Luke Shaw, Mason Mount, of course, Licha Martinez, 3 players right there off the cuff who have been injured quite a lot. We've even got Toby Collier now, who's injured quite a lot. Do you know what I mean? So we're going to have to look at that, guys. And, hopefully Man United can bring in more players other than just Cesco, obviously. Cesco would fix our strike force. That is the number 9 we need. The guy up front, the focal point, the guy who brings players into play. Playing in front of Mbumo and Cunha. I'm so excited to see that. But obviously, we can't ignore the problems in this team as well, the problems in the squad, and the historical culture and issues that Man United have had, which is injuries. Man United have had lots of injuries over the years, too many to count. Remember the Eric Ten Hag season, you know what I mean, when we were down to our bare bones and we're playing the likes of Casemiro in defense and things like that. I'm concerned about that. I am. And I'm also concerned as well about certain players that are past their prime, i.e. Casemiro. I think he's past his prime. I think Casemiro has been a great servant, has been a great player over the last 10 years. He's been a generational centre midfielder. But one thing about Real Madrid, they do sell players at the right time. They're very smart at doing that in regards to Rafael Varane and Casemiro. And they sold them to us for a purpose, because obviously they had these injury records that plagued us, obviously, throughout the couple of years that they were at the football club. And Casemiro, I just think that he's finished. I don't think Casemiro is quite an injury-prone player, but I just think that he's finished as a player in regards to the Premier League. I think he could do a shift at another league. I just think the Premier League is too intense for him. And when you're playing against, obviously, the likes of Wharton, the likes of Carlos Baleba, it's difficult for a player like Casemiro to hold the ball, to keep the ball running and stuff like that. The jury is still out on Ugarte, of course. Ugarte is a massive season for him this season. Of course, last season we gave Ugarte the excuse that he didn't have a preseason. This season, he's got no excuses. Next season, he has to show up and he has to be a consistent midfield player. If there's any position in the pitch that has to be consistent, it is the midfield position, because that is the engine of the team. And I believe that if you lose the midfield battle, you're liable to lose the game, because obviously that is the key between the defense and the goal. Of course, big up Marky Mark. And again, thank you for your generosity and kindness, my friend. Big up yourself. Tyberg, big up Sal. Keep up the good hard work, bro. Thank you so much, Tyro Gunner TV. Good to see you, mate. Big up yourself as well. Likewise, my guy. Big up, Kevin. How you doing, my friend? Hope we get this over the line, bro. I think we will get it over the line, barring, obviously, Man United do Man United things, which is negotiating very badly, of course, and penny pinching here and penny pinching there. Look, there was that, obviously, claim that there is a special club release clause, and if another team makes an offer that is sufficient, they will accept the offer from that team. They are obliged to accept the offer for that team, because it will be a special club. What is a special club? Manchester United are a special club. Barcelona, Real Madrid are special clubs. PSG, Man City, maybe I wouldn't class Man City as an historical special club, but they're a big club at the moment. And then you look at Liverpool, who are a special club, obviously. Of course, as much as I hate to say it, but there are special clubs. Juve, special club. These are special clubs. Unfortunately, Newcastle are not a special club. They're not even the biggest club who wear black and white. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Notts County have an argument with them. You know what I mean? Being the oldest club in the world. But what I would say is that, look, it does look likely that this won't be quick. Unfortunately, hopefully we get some news today in regards to Cesco and clarification on Manchester United wanting to join Manchester United. Big journalists have mentioned that he wants to join Manchester United. This is very important. Obviously, Ben Jacobs, Fabrizio Romano, and others, obviously Alex Crook as well, have mentioned that he wants to join Manchester United. I said it before all those guys yesterday. What did I say yesterday morning? What did I say yesterday morning? All that wants is Cesco. What would clarify, Cesco wants to join Manchester United, but he wanted clarification from Man United that they can afford the fee. Man United wanted clarification from Cesco that he wanted to come to Man United. There were two things there that I said yesterday. Both things we got yesterday after the stream, they both happened. Lo and behold, they both happened at the end of the day, guys. Absolutely. And thank you to this great community, because we get the news here, and you know what, and we get a lot of things right. We get because of other channels, they've given the content creation game a little bit of a bad name, of course, guys. Guesswork and stuff like that, sitting in Thailand, pretending they're in the know and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there that do that. Do you know what I mean? And pretend they're not really Man United fans and just want to clout off Man United. And I know I'm always fighting that as well. Do you know what I mean? And it's really great that we got this community, that we get the news, we get the transfer news through, and we get a lot of things right, guys. We do. Ultimately, the Man United are going to be linked to a lot of players. A lot of players are going to be on the radar even this next couple of weeks. You hear a lot about players. It doesn't mean it's not true. It just means that, sometimes it doesn't happen, but it doesn't mean that Man United are not interested in that player. They might be aware of that player. They might want to sign that player next season, for example. Just like last summer, don't think Man United weren't interested in Benjamin Cesco. Man United were fully aware in Benjamin Cesco a year ago, even before that, as a 16-year-old, as I said a week ago, basically they were interested in him when he was an up-and-coming player. So, look, you know what? I'm glad that he's coming to the fore. I'm glad that what happened, what I said over those last couple of days is coming to the fore, is coming true now. And you know what? I have the community to thank as well. You have a big part to play in that, of course. Tyro. Cesco to United is happening. Big up, Tyro. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. I think so. Barring something ridiculous, it will happen, of course, guys. But it is not the end. It shouldn't be the end for Manchester United. Manchester United still lead a lot. We came 15th last season. Let's not forget that. We're not disillusioned by that. We have to fix that. And obviously, that is no quick fix. coming 15th in the league. And guys, losing to Tottenham Hotspur in the Europa League final, you know, it hurt Arsenal fans. Bloody hell, it hurt us as well. It's one of the most embarrassing defeats, if not the most embarrassing defeat I've ever had as a Manchester United fan. And I've been supporting Manchester United since the late 80s. And we need to fix that next season. As Manchester United, we need to fix that this season. We need a competitive Man United in the Premier League. Man United, you need a Premier. As much as people don't like Man United, as much as Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City don't like Man United, well, majority of them don't like Man United. The Premier League needs a competitive Man United that are challenging. Because a competitive Man United, throughout the history, with our rivalry with Arsenal, our rivalry with Newcastle in the 90s as well, Blackburn Rovers and things like that, we elevated the Premier League. The rivalries elevated the Premier League. We all know when we look back at the Premier League era and we look back at the great times and the memorable times that stick out, you know, it's the rivalries that we had. In particular, our rivalry with Arsenal, of course. We had a massive rivalry. I feel like Man United's rivalry with Arsenal elevated the Premier League to where it is. We elevated each other. And like I said earlier in the show about elevating each other, about, you know, bouncing off each other and improving each other, you know, with competition. In regards to Sesko and Rasmus, this is what Man United and Arsenal were for many, many years. Man United and Arsenal would bounce off each other, would elevate each other to levels, you know what I mean? And I have to thank Arsenal as a Man United fan, you know, because, you know, without Arsenal, we wouldn't have been on our toes like that. I have to thank Blackburn Rovers in 1994, 95 for winning the league title, because if Blackburn Rovers didn't win the league title in 1995, would Man United brought through the kids? Do you know what I mean? You can't win anything with kids 95, 96, of course. Would they have done that? It's the butterfly effect at the end of the day. But one thing you can say is that you learn a lot from defeat. You learn a lot from competition. You learn a lot about levels. You learn a lot from that. And I feel that having competition within your team, it improves you. It improves every player. It improves every player. You need that competition. You need to challenge each other in training. You know, you need to challenge each other on the pitch on match day. And that goes with the Premier League as well. When you have a healthy Manchester United, the league is bouncing. The league is competitive. You know, let me tell you that right now. The league is better. No one cares about Man City. I'll be honest with you guys. And if we're being all realistic, guys, no one really cares about Chelsea either. Chelsea, Man City are two teams that are built from money, sugar daddies that came into the football club that built, you know what, at the end of the day, got successful. Fair play to Chelsea. They've been very successful. But that is not to say that they were successful before, because they were a mid-table team likened to Charlton Athletic or something like that. So what I would say is that the league needs a competitive Manchester United. Absolutely. And hopefully we get that next season again, of course, guys. Big up Hell, Buongiorno, how you doing, Hell Junior? I hope you're doing well. Ronaldo, big up yourself, big up my friend. Hope you're doing well. Excited to get Cesco. Now let's move on to Lemons. How many losses before our own fans call him Tesco, Amram, for a charisma merchant and 3 years? I mean, Hell, look, I really do, fingers crossed, hope that this isn't the case. I really do hope that this is the case. But it looks likely, mate, as soon as we lose one game, obviously we've got the Chubby Chubs and other content creators, of course, that are ready to open their mouth, just like they open their mouth when they're about to eat a big burger. Of course, guys, there are people out there that are ready to open their mouth in regards to Ruben Amram, guys. Absolutely, they're ready. They've already stuck the knife in after a friendly against Everton. They've already complimented and absolutely sucked up to Thomas Frank after a friendly win against Arsenal, etc., etc. You know, they're already ready to put the knives in against Manchester United, our manager, Ruben Amram, of course. There's going to be a time when they're going to call him Tesco. Of course, Benjamin Tesco. They're going to do it. Oh, surprise, surprise. How original is that at the end of the day? But one thing I want to urge Man United fans, please, guys, this guy's a young player. He's a young player, and be patient. Be patient with him. Don't drag him down. Don't ruin him like some of those fans have ruined Rasmus Hojlund, and we all know who they are. Those guys who put their cap on, nah, bruv, not happy with that, bruv. I've seen a treble, bruv. No, he's a bum, bruv. All them people, you know who they are. You know what I mean? He's a bum, bruv. Nah, bruv. Not having it, bruv. Nah, he's a bum, bruv. He's a fraud, bruv. You know who they are, man. I've been there, seen it, done it, won a T-shirt from East London. I know what I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I don't want any more Tottenham fans talking about our players. Do you know what I mean? Acting like Man United fans. I don't want that. Your brother's a Tottenham fan, but you're not. But you are as well, guys. Absolutely. So what I would say is that, look, you know, we don't want Rasmus Hojlund to be dragged down like We don't want Cesco to be dragged down like Rasmus Hojlund was dragged down. And that's why I say absolutely true. Held. Big up, Held. Hope you're well. Good to see you again, my friend. Benny, it was never in doubt, Sal. Man United or Newcastle, really, Manchester United is a bigger club with prestige and tradition, absolutely. Cesco is always going to choose United. Hopefully, here we go today. Then they keep it, I believe. Come on, Benny, that would be absolutely perfect if Man United managed to do that. If we get here we go today, it'd be absolutely fantastic. I would love that, of course, which means we move on to the next player, of course. But, you know, Man United, Benny, Man United are quite notoriously used to dragging transfers out in regards to the negotiations with the club. I don't think the actual relationship between Man United and players is as bad as the way the relationship Man United are with clubs, because Man United seem to get personal terms agreed pretty quickly, just like the Cesco situation, which I believe they've got already sorted. But with RB Leipzig, Man United are quite possibly. The problem is what Newcastle did, and I said it yesterday, what Newcastle have done, the only thing they've absolutely contributed to in this transfer is elevating the transfer fee. That's all Newcastle have done. Because what they've done, they offered 80 million plus 10 million incentives. RB Leipzig will look at that and look at Man United. You've offered 5 million less than Newcastle. That's what they're going to do, isn't it? They're going to do that. And you know, and they're going to say, well, offer us another 5 million and we know we might. And this is where Man United get into that territory, isn't it? Oh, you know that territory, 50 days territory, in Mbumo territory. It takes so long to get done. Hopefully we won't get into that position. Hopefully there's that special club release clause. And hopefully 75 million plus 10 million in incentives is enough. I believe it's enough. I believe that's the market value. I believe that's how much it should be sold for, in my humblest of opinions, guys. Absolutely. Done and dusted. What's going on, my friend? You got my name. Done and dusted is what I say when transfers go through. Big up, done and dusted. Where are we getting the money? Did all those sad layoffs save us much money? Nope, absolutely. Like I said, guys, some people should listen to Salsy, baby. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, look, what I would say is that Man United have the money, as I've always said. I said Man United have the money. They just don't want to spend the money. And that's what it is. Look, let me tell you a little business tactic that people do. I've been in business a long time. I owned my own record label, guys. You know, I know what business people do. I met billionaires. I met millionaires. I know what they do. They're the kings of manipulators. They would give you the illusion that they are broke so they don't have to spend money, or they have a rope to fall on. Well, we did make all those people redundant. We made all those people redundant because we were broke. We told you we're broke. That's an excuse for them, isn't it? We wouldn't have made all those people redundant if we wasn't broke. It gives the illusion in the fans as well. The illusion, it gives them subliminally. They get the illusion that we have no money. We have no money. We're making people redundant. We're making people redundant. That's what billionaires and millionaires do. It's a manipulation tactic. I've been saying it for weeks and weeks and weeks. Guys, absolutely. We're broke. Every single time someone has said that to me, no, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. You know, even when you think about it on the level, Man United have 250 million of FFP and PSR to spend. We can spend up to that amount of money, and not including the amount of money that we're going to be saving on the likes of Marcus Rashford, Sancho, Garnacho, Anthony as well. Man United have money. Man United are the biggest club in the world. We make so much revenue. Like I said, I've been around the world. I've seen Man United shirts wherever I've been. I've seen Man United shirts, for goodness sake. You know what I mean? Man United makes so much money organically. There's money we don't even know we get that they won't mention to you. We even got 30 million for finishing bloody 15th in the league. It's mad, isn't it, at the end of the day? Helge, it's meant as a negative, just that we need. It's not meant as a negative, just that we need to be patient. Absolutely. Even though we have to be patient for 13 years, it's important to transfer our impatience over to the new manager and new young striker. Absolutely, mate. Look, one thing I would say, mate, is that what is the overriding similarity over the last few years is that we've got a lot of toxicity within our squad that has been removed now, which I'm happy about. That Rashford is not at the football club. Sancho hopefully won't be at the football club. Garnacho, as much as I like Garnacho, I think he's becoming a little bit of a toxic influence as well. He won't be at the football club. Anthony, the crybaby who wants to go to Real Betis and crying that he wants to go to Real Betis, he won't be at the football club, hopefully, as well. Look, Anthony, when I bring it into Anthony, obviously Anthony wants to go to Real Betis. He doesn't want anyone else. He just wants Real Betis. Now, look, obviously, there were rumors about Anthony going to Saudi Arabia a week ago, and he's happy to go to Saudi Arabia. I do believe that Anthony will leave. But Anthony obviously really wants and crying that he wants to go to Real Betis, basically trying to give Man United a little bit of an ultimatum that he wants to go to Real Betis and he doesn't want to go anywhere else. Now, if Anthony wants to do that to Manchester United and cost Manchester United money, then that Anthony can just absolutely dissolve into the reserves, if I want to be honest, and do his spinny Roonies against Southampton under 21s. He can do that if he wants to do that. But what I would say is that, yeah, it's very important on the business level, on a smart level, to say that Anthony needs to lead this football club. And, Betis, Real Betis, you know what? The family Real Betis, that he loves Real Betis so much. They don't want to pay the money though, do they? It's a bit like the Sancho situation. The Sancho situation where Dortmund all year we're talking about how much they love Sancho, how he's at home now, how we're family. It's like father and son, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to the money, you're getting out of this house. We're kicking you out of the house. You're homeless, bruv. God, we ain't paying for you. You know what I mean? This is exactly like Anthony. Batiste, he's found his home. He's got his home. He's like a son to us, blah, blah, blah. Oh, but he's going to cost you 40 million. What? Get him out of here. Absolutely. And this is what's happening with Anthony. Of course, it does remind me so much of the Sancho situation. Absolutely. Big up, Jenny. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Is the bid accepted? Not as of yet, Jenny. Man United are negotiating with RB Leipzig, but it does look like Cesco has accepted. Look like Benjamin Sesko has accepted the Manchester United offer, of course. Manchester United wouldn't have made the offer if Benjamin Sesko didn't accept the offer, because Man United are in no position to be wasting time negotiating with RB Leipzig if Sesko does not want to sign for Man United. What it also does is when you get an agreement from the player, it also stops the bidding war. It stops the bidding war between you and Newcastle, because once a player clarifies that I only want Manchester United, I only want to go to Manchester United, then you know what? Newcastle are going to drop out, and any other football team that are interested in him are going to drop out of negotiations, of course, because it doesn't make sense to be carrying that on. You move on to the next player. It's exactly kind of thing that Man United did with Mbeumo. This doesn't mean that it has to be public. This doesn't mean that it has to be openly loud, that I want to go to Man United. I only want to go to Man United. Because obviously, if Man United end up falling flat on their face in regards to the transfer fee and they don't agree to terms with RB Leipzig, then it makes Benjamin Sesko look like an idiot, doesn't it? And he's not, of course. So he's been very quiet in regards to that. He probably has accepted the Manchester United project. He probably has already spoken to Manchester United's entourage. And guys, we have phones, we have texts, we have Skype, we have WhatsApp, we have everything. Anything could be said behind the scenes, guys, that we don't know about at the end of the day. We just see it from the newspaper side of things, don't we, at the end of the day? So I do believe that Benjamin Sesko has agreed to go to Manchester United and has committed to Manchester United. Manchester United have proven already with the bid that they can afford the transfer fee, which is his market value. Newcastle United have gone over the market value. They went over the price range of Benjamin Sesko, of course, because obviously that means they're desperate. That means they don't have an agreement with the player. That means they're trying to agree with the club before they're agreeing with the player. Although I would say, however, the financial package with the player has been preliminarily accepted, and Manchester United as well. But obviously, Newcastle have to pay more because they're not a special club, of course. Absolutely. Guys, absolutely. GK, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Guys, hope you're well. Do you think Newcastle will bid 90 million? I mean, at the end of the day, this is why Man United are trying to get an agreement open with Cesco. I do believe that the agreement has been made. I think the agreement has been made with Man United. If the agreement indeed has been made with Man United, Newcastle won't bid another bid, because at the end of the day, it does look pretty desperate on their side. It already looks a little bit desperate on their side, of course. But if Benjamin Cesco has agreed to go to Manchester United, has accepted Manchester United over Newcastle United, I don't think Newcastle will come in another bid. I think Newcastle will concentrate on other players. I don't think what Newcastle did for the last two bids, they've given their record bid. That's their record transfer fee. They've given a record twice, and Newcastle spent a lot of money. As I said, in the 90s, they were the top scorers, the top spenders in the 90s, as we know. They spent a lot of money on a lot of players, of course, but they can't be dragging this transfer out. All they're doing is being an irritant. That is what Newcastle are doing. They're being an irritant. They just need to accept it, hold it, and move on. That's what they need to do. I'm surprised there's no Newcastle fans in the chat today. It's very disappointing that I can't discuss this with Newcastle fans, because I can be their therapist if they want me to. That is very important. I am a very good therapist, I like to think. I can speak to Newcastle fans and tell them about the birds and the bees and calm them down a little bit and put a little bit of perspective on life. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, guys, I would. But you know what? Guys, it is 2025, and you can identify as anyone these days. And Newcastle United can identify themselves as a special club. It doesn't mean that they are a special club, but go on, guy. Go and identify yourself as a special club at the end of the day. I identify myself today as Brad Pitt. It doesn't mean I'm Brad Pitt at the end of the day. But you know what? Do your thing. And if it makes you feel better, do it at the end of the day. You know what I mean, guys? It is 2025 and we can identify as anything, can't we? Newcastle identify as a big club. That's fine. You can identify as a big club. You weren't a big club when you were in the championship, though, were you, at the end of the day, guys, a few years ago? But, yeah, there you go. When you had Titus Bramble in defence and, you know, guys, at the end of the day. So, look, guys, look, I don't want to be mean. I'm only doing a little bit of banter, but what I would say is that, yeah, I'm disappointed I haven't seen them. I was skeptical that United could get the deal done if we get Cesco. Phil has proven it. So I told you, Yale. I told you, don't listen to anyone. Weren't you the one saying Jurgen Klopp this, Jurgen Klopp that? I told you, mate. Don't listen to it, mate. I told you. Listen to this Stretford Post, mate. Listen. Absolutely. Proper stuff. Mods can blow me. How's everyone doing, y'all? What's going on, Mods? What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Hope everything is good with you. Big up everyone, of course, guys. Absolutely good to see you, bloods. Good morning, Randy. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you again. Helge, I really am a cup half full person. Me too. We're the same, Helge. Absolutely. So I'm manifesting Cesco winner against Arsenal on opening day. Oh, it wasn't taste that sweet. Lego man, Arteta, Dockeres in the bin. I hope so, Helge. It does depend, obviously, on how quickly we can get this deal done in regards to Cesco signing for Manchester United. Obviously, we have to get the agreement done with RB Leipzig in regards to the financial side, the transfer fee, etc. Also, we have to get the medical done and all that sweet stuff we have to get done, of course. My biggest concern is that, obviously, Cesco won't be integrated into the team in regards to training, in regards to preseason friendlies. There will be no more preseason friendlies. The 9th of August is our friendly against Fiorentina, and I don't think that Cesco is going to be ready for that game, unfortunately. He might be unveiled at that game if we're lucky, but I don't think he'll be ready for that game, which looks likely that he won't play against Arsenal. There is quite a little bit of a possibility, however, that he might be fit on the bench. It depends what Ruben Amorim can do in a short space of time in training, because obviously I said it there. I said it earlier on in the show. Man United needed to arrange a couple of more friendlies before the Arsenal game. Even if we play the reserves, I think Man United needed to arrange a friendly in Ireland or Scotland or Wales or something like that, just to get, so we can get Cesco and let him play in that team for the first time. We have very, very low friendlies this year, sadly, and I feel like we should have had a couple of more just in case we do get signings through the door. As usual, history tells you, just like Wayne Rooney, just like many players in the past, we get deals done late. Obviously, Wayne Rooney signed the first Champions League game, didn't he? He missed a couple of games before he signed for Man United. Of course, famously, Dwight York signed for Man United late. He had a game against Everton, and then he ended up signing for Man United late, of course. We've done it notoriously over the years. We've done it so many times, guys. Marion Fellaini on a lower scale, of course. We've done it many, many times. We notoriously get big deals done late. And my biggest concern is that, Man United need other positions in the pitch as well, and we can get this done quickly so we can move on to other positions. I hope that we get this deal done within the next week and then we can move on to another player. And we have a week to get the player through the door. Obviously, the transfer window ends on September the 1st. Big up Helge, of course, and Albie, the legend. What's going on, Albie? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you. Absolutely. Really good to see you guys. That's good to see everyone in the house. Bruno needs a solid number 6 next to him. Hojlund could be that guy, and he's another leader as well. Bruno needs to not play number 8, in my opinion. Absolutely. Guys, I'm still waiting for that apology, Yale, about the Jurgen Klopp thing. I told you, mate. Really, really hope our fans can actually not be toxic and abusive to our own players, absolutely, this season, to our manager. Be toxic, bold. I mean, at the end of the day, what I would say, Helge, right? Criticism is part of the game. That is true. And we do criticize. We have over the year, of course, guys. But what I don't want people to do is overreact in regards to the manager. As soon as that something goes wrong, that's it. You know what I mean? You know what? That's it. We're not, he's not the guy. Portuguese fraud, blah, 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 blah. We've heard it all before, haven't we? I don't want us to overreact. I don't want us to jump. We can criticize what we're doing wrong, like we did last season, Helge. We can criticize what we're doing wrong. We can compliment what we're doing right. But what is important is that overall we support this football team. We support this manager. Because at the end of the day, we're not going to get better than this, guys. Let me tell you that right now. There's not a manager in Europe who has the potential that Ruben Amorim has. And I tell you that right now. And I've seen Alex Ferguson at his prime. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you that. I don't say things off the cuff. I don't say things willy-nilly just to get likes and clicks. This is what I believe. And to be honest with you, this is, I think we should all get behind Cesco. I think we all should get behind Ruben Amorim as well. And hopefully next season, we start the game against Arsenal. We start the season off on fire. We beat Arsenal and the vibes will be up. The morale will be up. It's so important that we get that morale up and that vibes up, of course, guys. It really is important. I don't want us to be going and beating Arsenal and completely forgetting about Fulham away, which is a difficult game, and going to lose to Fulham. Man United need to be professional throughout the season. Every single game means a lot because over the years, as we've seen, Man United are the type of team that can beat Arsenal away with 10 men, all right, and then go and lose to Burnley at home. They're that type of team, And I want Man United to be consistent. Another thing that we've lacked over the years, especially in recent years, I want us to go on runs. For example, 3, 4, 5 games run in a row. I want us to do that. And above all, I want us to win games. That's it. And then I want us to be successful. And, what's going to happen if we're carrying on being negative, if we carry on targeting the manager, if we carry on just being toxic, it's just going to resonate. It's just going to completely toxify, even if that is a word, but it should be. It's going to toxify everything around it, of course. And it's not going to be good, of course. Mods, are you a troll, or are you trying to be clever and smart, my friend? Absolutely, trying to put in a timeout. That Mods, he's in a timeout. He's either someone who's trying to fish for subscribers, or he's someone who is a troll. Are we chasing midfield, bro? Hope so. I think so, Kevin. I think they are. I do feel, however, that Man United will concentrate on the goalkeeper next. However, people feel about that. Obviously, I'm taking what Ben Jacobs said a couple of weeks ago, that Man United can't afford Baleba at the moment in regards to his price tag. That's not to say it won't happen. Man United, as I said, are king manipulators. They manipulate you. You know what I mean? Some people fall for it. I certainly do not. Of course, guys, but Man United did say that Baleba was out of their price range. Look, I like Wharton. I think Wharton would be a better fit for Man United. Baleba's a bit of a fan theory. He's had one good season. Adam Wharton's had many good seasons, and Adam Wharton really reminds me of Carrick, and I think he's the type of player that Man United need. Although I would not cry if we got Baleba. Is Ugarte better than Baleba? His recovery record, his ball recovery record, his statistics are better than Baleba, and we have to give him a chance. Right? He's a good player, and for many months, he was one of the best central midfielders in Europe at a time. Absolutely. What happened to Lamens? We're going to be hearing about that. Like I said, Jenny, a couple of weeks ago, don't be surprised if Man United entered the goalkeeper market at the end of the window. That could be the last thing we do. I do think Man United will concentrate on the goalkeeper once we enter it at the last week of the window. Bayindir, however, I do think Bayindir will be leaving the football club, hopefully. Anyway, there is rumours about Trabzonspor, Besiktas, and teams like that in regards to going in for Bayindir. Hopefully that materialises. Obviously, Bayindir is looking for first team football. He wants to get in the squad for the World Cup with Turkey, of course, guys. Absolutely. Big up, Ephraim. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Sal. Do you have protests for the first game? Do you know about the protests for the first game? Not interested in it at the end of the day. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't believe we want Glazers out. So we want Glazers out. I don't think that works. I don't. The only way to make a reaction is to empty that stadium. That's the only way to do it. I don't think a hip-hop song, we want Glazers out, say, we want Glazers out. Hit the hut, the hit the hibbity, hit the hut, the don't stop, biggity beat. I don't think that works, guys. The shouting Glazers out doesn't work, guys. It's proven it doesn't work. Fair play to people who do it. I'm not criticizing it. I'm not being mean. I'm not being self-righteous. I'm not being arrogant. But it doesn't work. You've got to be more aggressive, mate. Go to Italy, see what they do at the end of the day. Guys, look, we want the Glazers out. We want Ineos out. The only way to do it is stop the regeneration project. Stop what's going to make them money. And that's what you want. Right? Okay? And that's what Man United need. And they're not going to do that. There is a protest against Sir Jim Ratcliffe, of course. And there needs to be, because this is targeting the Glazers, of course. You know what I mean? Guys, what you need to do, if you ever played the game Street Fighter, who's ever played the game Street Fighter 2? You remember the game Street Fighter where there's a car, like a little bonus round, and there's a car, and you're hitting the car, and the car smashes to pieces. Basically, there's bits on that car that come off, and then eventually you get to the core of that car, and the car ends up exploding. and then you win, right? On Street Fighter 2. If you know, you know, right? This is a bit like Man United. Man United need to beat down the core of what is the organization to get to the middle. How do they beat down the core? They beat down the core by stopping what's going to be financial viable for them, what's going to give them money, which is the regeneration project. That is what's going to give them money. That's what they're excited about. That's what trying to grasp onto. Now, I'm not going to be an absolute flip-flop. If Ineos come out this summer and they sign a striker and they sign a midfielder and they sign a goalkeeper, we cannot criticize them too heavily, because then you can turn around and say, well, at least they spent money. But we do need to get those Glazers at the football club. How are we going to get those Glazers at the football club is without Ineos, of course. Because Ineos are the ones that are holding them up. Ineos are the ones that they contact. They're the ones that are the regeneration project, etc., etc. Of course. Guys, thank you everyone who's joined me today. Absolute legends. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to smash a like on the video, of course, guys. Absolutely good to see you all. And don't forget to put your notifications on as well in case I go live later on, in case anything breaks, of course, which it could quite possibly do now, of course, guys. But thank you, big up Roy. Sorry I couldn't read out any of your comments, of course, guys, today. So many comments. And basically, thank you so much, Held. You absolute legend. Thank you for the super chat again. I've had intel that Lemons has secretly agreed to deal with the signing before that. I knew it, a carbonara sauce. Oh, God. Thank you. I sort of believed you there, Held. But let me tell you something about that. Lemons wants to come to Man United. I spoke about Lemons, obviously. Guys, he wants to come to Man United. Young goalkeeper, wants to become to Man United, and hopefully we get him through the door. And the thing with Lemons is that he can slowly drift out Anana out of the team, can't he? He can slowly get him out of the team and stuff like that. But thank you, Helge. You absolute legend. Thank you for your kind generosity, mate. Thank you for your super chat. And thank you for supporting the channel every single day, guys. It really helps the channel. It really helps the channel to grow. And everything that is brought onto this channel will be reinvested into the channel, guys. And absolutely, we'll be growing day by day, of course, guys. Absolutely. But, guys, thank you, guys, for everything. And thank you again. And another super chat from Helge. Much love, brother. Much love, brother. I challenge you to name a better love story than Gary at this moment in time. You know it, isn't it? I mean, when I watched that interview with Jim Ratcliffe, it was, at the end of the day, Gary Neville, at this moment in time, at the end of the day, at this moment in time. That is what it was. That is what that interview was to me. That is how I listened to it. That was how that. But Helge, you legend. Thank you so much for your super chats, my guy. Absolutely brilliant, of course, to have you here. And as well, welcome to the community. Welcome to the family, of course, Helge. Much love to you, brother. As usual, always appreciate you, my guy. Absolutely. And I appreciate everyone who supports the channel. Let me just give a quick shout out to Ellen. Good morning, Ellen. How you doing? A member of the channel as well. Good morning, Ellen. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Timo. Hope you're doing well, Timo. Really good to see you, my friend. Another great member of the channel. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, my friend. Really appreciate you. Ellen. Benjamin Cesco won't flop. He is the rising sun. Come on, Ellen. I love the positivity. Really do. Really do. Really do. Ooh, absolutely. I do. Ellen, again, there is a reason people lost their job. We need the footballers in the football club, not paper movers. Actually, Ellen, I would correct you on that. There were people who worked in the mega store who lost their job. I know a couple. Yeah, there were people on 16 grand a year doing good jobs, working hard, cleaners, people like that, by the way, just to let you know, Ellen. Just to let you know, of course, guys. Absolutely. But thank you, guys, for joining me. Guys, even the people. Big up everyone who's joined me today. And snooze you lose. I've got so many comments here. Let me see. Let's see if I've missed anyone. I've got a lot of comments here, guys. Sorry I can't read that anymore. But don't forget to join me for Chatterbox, guys. Very important. Join me for Chatterbox later. Or if anything breaks, of course, I will be live, guys. Have a great day, night, evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much again. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. And I shall see you for Chatterbox later. Take it easy. Peace.